Imagine waking up one morning, jumping in your car, heading to work just like any other day, and then getting pulled over. The officer checks your license, and suddenly you find out your license is no longer valid. Not because you did anything wrong. Not because you broke any law. But simply because you didn't know about the new rules that quietly came into effect in 2026. Your fine. Hundreds of dollars. Your day. Ruined. And the worst part? This is already happening to real drivers across Australia right now. So before you grab those car keys today, stay right here, because what I'm about to share in the next few minutes could save you from a very expensive and very stressful situation. Welcome back to Aussie Gateway, the channel that keeps you informed, prepared, and ahead of the game when it comes to everything you need to know about living, driving, and thriving in Australia. If you are new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and tap the bell icon so you never miss an important update like this one. And if you have been watching us for a while, you already know that we do not waste your time. We get straight to the information that actually matters to your daily life. Today's topic is one of the most important things we have covered in a long time, and I genuinely believe every single person watching this needs to hear it. We are talking about the brand new driving license rules that have come into effect in 2026, what has changed, who is affected, and exactly what you need to do to make sure you stay on the right side of the law. Let us start from the very beginning, because a lot of people are confused about why these changes are happening in the first place. Transport authorities across multiple Australian states have been working on a major overhaul of the licensing system for several years now. The goal is to bring Australia's licensing framework in line with modern technology, improve road safety, reduce fraud, and make the system easier to manage for both drivers and government agencies. What we are seeing in 2026 is the result of all that work finally rolling out to the public, and it is rolling out fast. The first and perhaps most talked about change is the introduction of the new digital driver's license as a primary form of identification. Now, digital licenses have been around in some states for a few years in a limited capacity, but in 2026 the rules around them have changed significantly. In participating states, the digital license stored on your smartphone is now fully recognized as a legal document for traffic stops, ID checks at license venues, and even some government service interactions. However, and this is a big however, the physical card is still required in certain situations, including crossing state borders, international travel documentation, and specific employment checks. So the advice here is simple: do not throw away your physical card. Keep both. Having your digital license is great and very convenient, but assuming it will work in every single situation could get you into trouble. The second major change involves license renewal timelines and the new notification system. Previously, many drivers relied on receiving a renewal reminder letter in the mail. That system is being phased out in favor of digital notifications only. This means if your contact details with your state's transport authority are not up to date, if your email address has changed, if you switched phone numbers, if you move house and never updated your address, you could completely miss your renewal notice. And unlike the old days where a late renewal might get a bit of grace, the 2026 rules come with stricter penalties for driving on an expired license. We are talking fines that start at several $100s and can escalate depending on how long your license has been expired and whether you have been stopped by police. The responsibility has shifted squarely onto the driver to keep their details current, and ignorance is no longer accepted as a valid excuse. The third change is one that affects a large number of people and it is causing a lot of confusion: the updated medical fitness requirements. Australia has tightened the rules around what medical conditions must be declared when holding or renewing a driving license. The list of conditions that require a formal medical assessment before renewal has been expanded. This includes certain cardiovascular conditions, updated standards around vision requirements, new guidelines around sleep disorders like sleep apnea, and clearer rules around medications that may impair driving ability. If you have been diagnosed with any new health condition since your last renewal, it is your legal responsibility to check whether that condition needs to be declared. Failure to disclose a relevant medical condition can result in your license being suspended immediately upon discovery, and in serious cases, it can lead to legal action. The best advice is to speak with your GP before your next renewal and ask specifically whether your health situation requires any declarations to the Transport Authority. The fourth update is particularly important for young drivers and for parents of young drivers. The Graduated Licensing Scheme, which is the system that takes new drivers from a learner permit through to a full license, has been updated with new requirements. In several states, the minimum supervised driving hours for learner drivers have been increased. Additionally, There are new mandatory competency checkpoints that must be completed before a learner can sit their practical driving test. These checkpoints are designed to ensure that new drivers have experienced driving in a wider variety of conditions, including nighttime driving, highway driving, and wet weather driving. For anyone currently on a learner permit or about to start the process, this is critical information. Check with your state's transport authority to confirm the updated hours and requirements in your specific state, because the changes are not identical across every state and territory. The fifth change affects older drivers and is one that needs to be handled with care and sensitivity. Drivers over the age of 75 now face updated requirements around periodic medical assessments. The frequency of these assessments has increased, and the standards applied during these assessments have been made more rigorous. This is not about being ageist, this is about road safety for everyone. But what it means practically is that older drivers need to be more proactive about scheduling their assessments and should not leave renewals until the last minute. If an assessment is missed or not completed on time, the license lapses automatically. So if you have a parent, grandparent, or elderly family member who drives, please share this video with them or sit down and help them understand what they need to do. The sixth and final major change we want to cover today is around interstate license recognition and the movement of people between states. Australia has always had a system where a license from one state is recognized in others, but the 2026 rules come with an important update. If you move to a new state permanently, the time frame in which you must convert your license to a local one has been shortened. Previously, you had several months. Under the new rules in most states, you have a much tighter window to get that conversion done. If you have recently moved interstate or are planning to move, get this sorted quickly. The process is not difficult, but leaving it too late means driving on a technically invalid license, which is a situation you absolutely want to avoid. Now, here is what we want you to take away from everything we have just covered. The 2026 driving license changes are real, they are in effect right now, and they require action from you personally. Do not assume that because you have had your license for years that everything is fine and nothing has changed. Check that your contact details are up to date with your state transport authority today. If your license is coming up for renewal in the next 12 months, start the process early. If you have any medical conditions, speak to your GP. If you are a learner driver or you have one in your household, check the updated hours and requirements. And if you have moved interstate recently, get your license converted as soon as possible. The theme of all these changes is the same. The system is becoming more digital, more proactive, and less forgiving of people who are not paying attention. The days of a letter arriving in your mailbox to remind you of everything are fading. You need to be on top of this yourself, and now you have everything you need to do exactly that. That is it for today's video on Aussie Gateway. If you found this information helpful, please give this video a thumbs up. It genuinely helps us reach more people who need to hear this. Share it with someone you know who drives, because you might just save them from a fine or a major headache down the track. Drop a comment below and let us know which of these changes surprised you the most, or if there is something you want us to cover in more detail in a future video. We read every single comment and we love hearing from our community. Do not forget to subscribe if you have not already, and turn on notifications so you are always the first to know when we drop new content. Until next time, stay safe on the roads, stay informed, and as always, we have got you covered here at Aussie Gateway. See you in the next one.